Good afternoon. Welcome into our final Cotton Bowl preview. Yuengling live show here. Gabe DeArmond with Power Mizzou will bring in Jarod Hamilton from North Texas here in just a minute. Want to, first of all, before we get going, ask all of you who are here live with us to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. If you got any questions, put them in the queue. We'll get to them and remind you that all of our coverage this week leading up to Mizzou and Ohio State on Friday night is being brought to you by Yuengling, the taste of game time. Follow them at Yuengling Beer on Twitter, on Instagram, on any other social media platforms that you may be aware of that maybe I'm not aware of. But appreciate our friends at Yuengling helping us out, not only with the lead up to the bowl game and game day coverage, but all season long. Mizzou and Ohio State, the talking is done. All that's left is a football game. We're going to bring Jarod Hamilton in now. And Jarod, you get to hang out with Ryan Day and Eli Drinkwitz for about 45 minutes this afternoon. I'm sure they said incredibly inflammatory things. A lot of bulletin board material provided leading up to the game.
Absolutely not. No. You're talking about the pinnacle of coach speak when it comes to Ryan Day, but it was cool. Their personalities, I feel like his personality really showed today. It was pretty funny. They didn't, when it came to talking about the Cotton Bowl itself, again, I told you beforehand, it's nothing they haven't said in the past month, either one of them. There was a couple questions as far as, with the new 12-team playoff stuff, how December and how the recruiting schedule just needs to change. I feel like that was towards the end in that. And there was another question that's on the tip of my tongue, but kind of just how they need to solve that, how they need to figure that out. That seemed like the most interesting thing of it, but everything else was pretty much what you've been hearing in the past, 24, 25 days.
Yeah, and we'll let you guys know let us know if you're hearing in again, we're at the mercy of technology. I'm a little bit pixelated as far as the video, but I'll be honest, I've seen Jarod a lot of times, so if I don't see you in live action on video, I'll survive that. But audio sounds fine. But let us know if you guys are having any issues with that, and we will do our best to get that taken care of. But before we get to any questions or last previews of this game, like what you were talking about seems to me to be the main talking point in college football this month. By next December, this has to change, man. Like they can't, they're literally having free agency while the season is going on. I know Lane Kiffin talked about it the other day. Chip Kelly's talked about it, Drink and Day. I'm sure every bowl game, these coaches are being asked about this. College football has been poorly managed and messed up for a long time, but they can't keep doing it this way.
Yeah. Well, when this question was asked, Drink basically took the lead on this one, and Ryan kind of agreed with him. So the main points these guys were saying was like, all right, so you've got the season is still going on, you've got signing day, you've got transfers in and out, and you possibly got a bowl game. And then if you add in the playoff, well, that schedule definitely is going to have to move back because obviously that's a much more important game, and there are now more games. So you got that. You can't necessarily move signing day because like neither one of them they kept saying, we don't have exact answers, but we know it's not the answer, which is what it is now because Ryan gave the example, well, you can say, let's move signing day to, sometime in the summer. But if you do that, a coaching change switches everything up. And now, those recruits, they don't want to do it. I think Drink said something about the transfer portal. He was like, a lot of kids are entering the transfer portal and having to make these decisions before they even finish finals. And that's something, most people aren't thinking about. And Drink is, I feel like, at least since I've been here, he's been good at saying like education, like that kind of matters to him. The chase two dreams thing, he says that all the time. That was big for him. So they know they don't have the answer, but they know it is not the answer, which is the current formatted schedule.
Yeah, I've got an idea. What if we just went back to having signing day in February like it used to be? Like, what the hell was wrong with that? Why do we have to have these kids signed in December? And with the transfers, maybe don't force them to enroll in classes the first week in January. Maybe go ahead and give them time. I think a big part of this is they are trying to run what is the equivalent of a professional sport and still pretend they really care about these kids taking classes. And they don't, but I get why they pretend they do.
It kind of reminds me, and it only reminds me because I seen it this morning, Russell Wilson. The Broncos are gonna basically release him in March, and Sean Payton, I seen him say something kind of like, it's not about economics or whatever. It's about the chance to win or whatever. And I seen on Twitter earlier, somebody said Russ has 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Like, he's saying things because the higher ups are saying, this is what we got to do, and it's just coach speak. But that's just how the game goes, I guess.
Yeah. So, look, we're not going to solve the college football issues here in the next 30 minutes on this podcast. So we'll move on to Mizzou, Ohio State. The talking is done. We now have 28 hours till kickoff. It's all kind of settled, and now we actually get to play a football game. The only thing we don't appear to know is still whether Marvin Harrison Jr. plays or not. It seems not, but nobody's actually said he isn't playing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, someone asked Dave straight up, like, is he playing? Is Tommy Eichenberg playing? And the guy who asked it, they said, well, usually this reporter asks 2 or 3 questions, so I'm gonna wait for the second or third question because I'm not answering the first one. And everybody kind of got a kick out of that. He just said, basically he's gonna let the players decide if they want to play or not, which obviously the assumption, since they didn't get into the CFP, was here's our game plan with and without Marvin. And he's probably been leaning heavy in that without Marvin for a minute, so no one expects him to play. But I have talked to some Buckeyes, beat reporters, and they've said before there's been times where a player would practice, or they'd show up to practice, not look like they're going to practice, but as soon as the media leaves, they're practicing again with everybody else, and then they participate in the game. I forgot the player it was, but it's been in the Ryan Day tenure or whatever that has happened, so it's not out of the realm, but no one expects it because he's a top 5, top 10 type guy.
I mean, I would say this. I wouldn't put it past a college football coach to think, hey, we'll make everybody think he's not playing, and then he's going to play, and oh man, it's going to be huge. But like, Missouri is ready if Marvin Harris. It's also stupid. Like, they do all this subterfuge in gameplay and stuff, and the Missouri game plan is not going to change that much if it's Marvin Harrison or some other guy. Like, they're preparing for Ohio State's scheme and Ohio State's team, not number 18 or some other number.
Correct. And I mean, they, like I said, when they were doing kickball and all that stuff yesterday, they just told me all the installs, everything, any type of plan or contingency was figured out long ago. And that's what happens when you've got 4 or 5 weeks to prepare for one opponent. It's similar to preparing for a week 1 opponent in some regards. You got all this extra time, so every avenue that can be taken, they've already went there.
Yeah, what do you make of I know that you tend to maybe pay a little more attention to point spreads and ways to make money or lose money off of that than I do, but what do you make of this game? Opened at Ohio State favored by 6.5, went to Mizzou favored by 2.5. It's now back to Ohio State favored by 4. Like, I'm not sure I've ever in the history of football seen lines move quite like this.
So 4, in one regard, it's like I'm not surprised. And again, that's just when lines move like that, part of it is, I feel like, or at least the odds for the line, is because so many people are smashing like a certain team, they want this or whatever. I think, I don't know, -4 seems, -3.5, -4, it seems like a bit much. But at the same time, the line being in Ohio State's favor, it doesn't surprise me because it's Ohio State, and also because they've got most of their team. This is the top. for like what 2 or 3 of the first week of the rankings, they were number 1, were they not?
Yeah.
So I mean, when you take things like that, and they seem so confident in this Devin Brown guy. I mean, they're talking to him like he's been the starter, like he's a guy they wouldn't have mind being the starter this year anyway. So maybe Vegas knows that and they're keeping that in account.
It doesn't surprise me that Ohio State's favored in this game, but like generally, you don't see a line move 9 points one way and 6 points, but like whatever the line opens at, I don't feel like it generally moves more than a couple points either direction. And this one has moved 9 points one way and then another, 6 or 7 points back the other way. If I was better at gambling, I wish I would have placed like 2 or 3 bets along the way and taken advantage of everything. And then if you actually manage to get the perfect result of like, Ohio State by a field goal or something, you could win 3 different ways.
Right. And so the reasons is because, bowls first announced, you just look at teams, what best players on each team. Then it took like a day or two for people to realize like Ohio State's probably gonna have their whole team opt out. It's not gonna matter. Then when like days started passing by, it's like, okay, I mean, all of their transfers, it's kind of like Missouri. Most of the people transferring out were not players who were playing. Obviously, McCord, Fleming, and their backup running back Chip, those were guys, but like there wasn't nothing about Marvin and some of the defensive guys. So it was like, okay, now by this time you see where the line is at. They know who's probably going to play, and it's what it is. But yeah, I wish I was thinking the same thing. But I learned a good rule last year. I don't bet on SEC teams and their games. I just stay completely out of that.
Yeah. I learned a good rule 25 years ago. I don't bet on sports, but whatever. That's just me.
Yeah, see, that's why you're in charge, Gabe.
So, all right, like, we've broken this down 100 different ways. I'm not trying to get into any more, matchups, things like that. But just what would this mean to Missouri to win this game? And what do you think the difference is between winning this game and, let's say, a competitive loss? I mean, I know Missouri doesn't want to go out and get beat, 38-10 or something like that. Obviously, that takes some shine off. But how big is winning this game for Missouri?
It's big, to when you look up bowl games and stuff like this. I heard earlier, and I didn't think about it. Mizzou's on a 4-game losing streak in bowl games. So, was it Texas Armed Forces? I feel like I'm missing one in there.
Texas Armed Forces, Gasparilla last year, the Music City Bowl, COVID beat them. They just didn't go. So, there's been a few in there.
So 3 or 4 game losing streak in bowl games. They want to snap that. I forgot, was it you? Maybe you were quoting somebody or something, but there's a big difference in, 9 or 10 wins and 11 and 12 wins. Like having 11-2 season and the losses are to the Heisman winner in Georgia. That's pretty good. Also, the final, rankings or whatever, you beat Ohio State, probably jumping into that top 5 or 6 or something like that's another big thing. And again, just saying you beat Ohio State, and it's not really going to be any of the you beat a empty team or whatever. You beat the team. Like Marvin Harrison is big and Kyle McCord those are significant pieces, but they're not the whole team. Like you just said, they're not planning for 1 or 2 players. It's a lot more that goes into that. So it'll be big, but if it's a competitive loss, really no shame in it. They've already won by their recruiting class, the momentum they built throughout the season, winning 10 games, signing extensions to both their coordinators, not losing anybody off their coaching staff. I mean, there is not really much of a loss. Even if they was to get blown out at this point, it'd be a sour taste in their mouth, but that's not going to last that long. They know they're on the rise, and they've already exceeded expectations.
Yeah, I don't feel like it has a long-term effect. Like upside here, let's just assume Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama, the playoff teams finish above Missouri in the final rankings. They all should. The worst thing would be loss number 2. Georgia and Florida State are 5 and 6. They play each other. If Georgia wins that game, like I can see Florida State dropping below Missouri. If Georgia loses that game, Missouri can't jump Georgia. They would jump Ohio State if they win. Oregon, I don't see a world in which Oregon loses to Liberty. So, like, best case scenario, I see Missouri moving up to, seventh in the country in the final ranking. Worst case scenario, actually, they could slip like Penn State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, LSU, Arizona, or the 5 teams right below them. I could see with the loss, Missouri falling below all those. Well, they're not going to fall below Oklahoma and Arizona because one of those teams is going to lose. But, like, downside is falling to 13, 14. Still not terrible. Nobody's going to feel bad about finishing 13th in the country. But there's some definite upside. Like, I feel like this is a day where Missouri can tell the rest of the country, hey, you need to take us a little more seriously than I feel like you're taking us.
Absolutely. And well, actually, that kind of brings up another slight tidbit, interesting point that I thought Drink made today is someone asked him about the impact Luther Burden has made. And I know I wrote something recently about Williams Nwaneri and what his impact is and momentum. And Drink brought it back to Luther because, yeah, it does start with Luther. And I think my article is more so speaking about the last few months in particular. But, yeah, he said it starts with Luther, him coming to Missouri, and then them kind of building off of that is got the ball rolling. So yeah, if they play well and they do well and all that good stuff, like it only keeps that going. But I don't think it's too much. Even if there was a drop below some of those teams you just said, again, they probably took 3 steps forward in a season you were hoping they took 1, possibly 2 steps. So there's that. And also, do you not think so? If Georgia blows out Florida State, kind of like how we're expecting, would a Missouri win just move them to 6 though? Because who's
I think a Missouri win would move them to 7 because Oregon is 8, and I can't invent a scenario where Oregon loses to Liberty. Like I just can't see it.
But beating Liberty, I get why they could keep have that spot over Missouri, but if Missouri beats Ohio State,
yeah,
I mean, either way it's going to work. But 6 or 7, good seats.
So here's the scenario I've invented for this game. It would be the perfect 2023 college football scenario. Something happens to Brady Cook, has to go out of the game. Sam Horn either not getting it done, something happens to Sam Horn. Third string quarterback Jake Garcia comes in the game, beats Ohio State, and like legitimately after the game is in the transfer portal. I feel like that would be the perfect 2023 college football scenario.
Didn't that happen at Western Kentucky? I feel like it was at Western Kentucky. There's a backup quarterback who played. He had entered the portal already. He was allowed to play and stick with the team and either like 5 touchdowns and help them come back and win. I'm pretty sure that was Western Kentucky a week or 2 ago. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. But
I don't think it's very realistic. I just kind of created it in my mind.
Oh yeah, I'm hip, Gabe.
I mean, this is where we're at. We've been previewing this game for 22 days. I'm just making shit up at this point.
No, I got you. It's been a long time. I'm finally happy that it's here. The only thing about it, I feel like the SEC, the Cotton Bowl, the NCAA, they had to kick us reporters down one more time by having this be a 7 p.m. kickoff. They hate me. That's all it is. But everything else has been else has been cool.
So so let's kind of spend the last few minutes here kind of taking a look around the New Year's Six, because look, tomorrow we're obviously fully focused on Mizzou, Ohio State. We'll cover that game, but we're not going to have another show before some of these games get going. So we'll have our predictions on the site for Mizzou and Ohio State tomorrow morning. Some decent games tomorrow: Clemson, Kentucky, Oregon State, Notre Dame. Some of those entertaining. But New Year's Six games Saturday: Ole Miss, Penn State. What do you think?
Ole Miss, Penn State. Without knowing anything about the team, as far as opt-outs and all that, probably lean Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss, much better offense. I think Ole Miss and Penn State are the same program right now, which is definitely very good. Like, they beat all the teams they should beat, but they can't beat the teams, that they have to beat to get into the top 5 or whatever.
What bowl is that?
That's the Peach Bowl, Saturday
Peach Bowl.
morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
Orange Bowl, Friday afternoon, Georgia,
Oh,
Florida State.
no, that
Brock
was
Glenn off an incredibly impressive performance against Louisville in the ACC title game, taking on Georgia. I think we're going to go the same way in this one.
Georgia by 73. No, I'm just playing. Georgia will probably win big. I was kind of somewhat interested watching that, going to watch that game because I was thinking Jarod versus the defensive end, like him. I don't know. I know Keon Coleman declared for the draft. I don't know if that means he's not playing or not, but he would have been someone I'd like to watch. But it's a wash. Georgia's gonna step on him probably.
Like neither team cares at all about this game. There's two scenarios in this game. Either Georgia wins and Florida State just says, screw it, we're going to sue the Orange Bowl. We think we should have won. Or Florida State wins and claims the national title, and we get a lot of fun.
That'd be cool. I feel like that bowl game is the exact opposite of the Cotton Bowl, where like those two coaches are like, we deserve to be playing for more, and then these two are kind of like, I'm happy to be here. Whatever y'all want to say, like, I want more, but the Cotton Bowl is cool too. So definitely two different experiences.
Yeah. New Year's Day, Liberty, Oregon. I refuse to talk about this game. It doesn't matter. Liberty should not be in the New Year's Six. So playoff. Bama, Michigan. I don't know if you saw, because I know you've been super busy.
What?
Jim Harbaugh said, it was either yesterday or this morning, that Jalen Milroe is a more polished version of the kid who is Michigan's backup quarterback. Like, Jim, you don't got to give Nick Saban any fuel, man.
Oh man, that's why I like college football. That's the good thing about college sports. I need coaches to have more personality. I need you to just throw whatever you want to say at the wall and be like, F it, because I'm such and such. I have to say this. That's funny. Yeah. I like that. What day is that?
That's New Year's Day, Monday.
And that is the I forget all the
Rose
games.
Rose Bowl.
Okay. And the next game is that played on New Year's too?
Yeah, the two semifinals are both on Monday.
So those are New Year. And then you just said, okay, never mind. Kind of mixed up. Okay, sounds like fun. I'm gonna be locked in for.
So Bama, Michigan. I like Bama. What do you think?
I don't want to pick Bama,
Right.
but I'll lean Bama, but I want Michigan to win, just because it's different. So I'm gonna say Bama for me.
I don't know if I want either one of them to win, but I think Bama wins. All right, Texas, Washington, Sugar Bowl. This is one where
that's the game.
My head says Texas. I really want Washington to win the national title.
Absolutely, I want Washington all the way. Yeah, I mean, Michael, he's great. I like the receivers. Rome, that's
Rome Odunze is amazing. Love that kid.
Yeah, I like watching him play, but I also like the guys on Texas. I like the tight end, Worthy, Mitchell. They got some cats over there too. I'm just excited to watch a good game. But Washington, that's my team going on. So I'm gonna pick Washington
for sure. The important thing, Jarod asked, how's the hospitality room? And Cotton Bowl hospitality second to none. I know that.
Yeah, they gave me the backpack Gabe got. So that was the thing I was thinking.
Is it like legitimately the same backpack?
Pretty much. It's got the logo on there. It's a huge backpack, but it's cool. Hospitality room. It's been cool. I've been playing some of the other reporters in the games, and typically a winner has lost every single thing. I haven't won ping pong. I haven't won pool, foosball. I've never lost so much consecutively in my life, but I'm having a good time. So that's all that matters. It's definitely, I joked with another reporter that we need to get this to Missouri, but let's just start with the food. Let's work our way up a little bit. Let's get some decent food, or a little bit better. I'm not gonna say it's not decent.
Maybe you can find one of our, I guess, less athletic subscribers and beat them in pickleball tonight. Maybe that'll boost your boost your
Oh, there
feelings
is
about the last
pickleball there. Oh man. And I think I got the attire to get busy. See, I got the Power Mizzou polo, so I got my work stuff on, but I got a nice pair of, sweat. Like I can get active, Gabe. So I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'm playing foosball. I can feel the tightness in my arm. I was trying to win. I was trying to win.
Dude, no, I'm the worst foosball player that's ever existed. We had a foosball table in my fraternity in college, and like the rule was that when you were a pledge, like anyone who was active in the house could challenge you to a foosball game at any time, and the loser had to buy a pizza. Like, dude, I
Oh
I
man.
hid because I was bad at that game. I've never been worse at anything in my life than I am at foosball.
Oh no. Foosball, pool, and ping pong, like specific like pool, I've always known how to play. Not great at it, but I know how to play. Ping pong, I played it once before, and it's really just like they don't have a game. So if they had some, the Xbox or the PlayStation, I would have got active. But ping pong, these games have forced me to learn and try new things. But it's been fun. I've been having a better time than I thought. I don't like y'all in the comments hating on me. I got somebody saying I'm gonna sprain an ankle tonight. Somebody giving me a medical red shirt. This is not the energy we need, y'all. I don't like this.
All right. Well, if you happen to be in Dallas, show up tonight. Challenge Jarod to pickleball.
For sure.
Loser buys Yuenglings. Everything all good. So, all right, man. Well, hey, appreciate the work all week. Appreciate you hanging out every day and wasting some of your time dealing with us. And have fun tonight. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
For sure, everybody come through. Whatever Mizzou football related, try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Pickleball, I haven't played it. I'm sure I will fail miserably, but I'm gonna have fun. So that's all that matters this week. But when I get home, I'm probably gonna beat Drew in basketball to make me feel better. That shot is. I hope he sees. I hope he sees this.
Poor Drew, man, just catching strays on the live show.
Oh man, that's my guy. But I'll catch you guys later.
All right, thanks, Jarod. Appreciate it. That is Jarod Hamilton from Las Colinas. There, be in I don't know, some other suburb of Dallas tonight. Over in Arlington for the game tomorrow. Appreciate him. Seriously, guys, covering these bowl games is every day is you're running all over the place, taking media shuttles. So appreciate Jarod making it to hang out with us and kind of you guys in on what's going on down in Dallas this week. Appreciate share, subscribe, do all the things that will allow more people to see what we're doing here. And we'll answer this question. Ninja asked, live call-in show if we win. Look, so there are two reasons I quit the live call-in show. Number one, it's an absolute hellscape. Like, guys, I listened, a friend of mine who runs another rival site did a podcast with live call-ins earlier this week. It ended up being 4.5 hours. He literally could have cut 2 hours of it off just by if he didn't have to tell people to turn down their volume or wait and on a phone call because they didn't know he was talking. It's in the ass. Second of all, I let my Skype subscription go, so I do not currently have a phone number you can call. So yeah, that's why we don't do the live call-in shows. It is an absolute mess, but we will do a post-game show tomorrow night, brought to you as all of our shows and all of our coverage this week have been by our friends at Yuengling, the Taste of Game Time. You can follow them at Yuengling Beer on X and Instagram if you are a subscriber and know the location and the details of our deal tonight in Dallas. Yuengling is going to be there, going to have Yuengling specials. They're going to have a vendor table, get some merch, things like that. So you can meet the people who have helped us out all season long and made this show all week long possible for you guys. Again, thanks to you guys. Thanks to Jarod. Thanks to Yuengling. I think I've thanked everybody. So that means it's time to go. We will have full coverage tomorrow, and I will be live as soon as the game goes final. Jarod will join me after post-game interviews, so we will talk to you about 11 o'clock Friday night. See you then.